So guys, welcome back to the part 2 of the research proposal video. So this is the continuation of the part 1. So here the first topic will be the need and justification of the study. So after you have write down your literature review, next thing you have to do is to write down the need and justification of your study. So how you can do that? So here you have to mention the reason why your research should be conducted on the first place. And next you will also have to mention the research gap that your research attempts to fill. So here you will also have to justify your point with supporting facts. So here supporting facts means you have to cite some previous research. Next is you will have to try to convince the audience. So here the audience means the research community and also the funding agency. In case if you want your research to be funded by some funding agency, then you will also have to convince them in order to accept your research by selecting a research topic whose findings will bring fruitful solutions or recommendations for the funding agency as well as the entire community. So this is how you are supposed to justify your study. Moving on to the next, that is the scope of the study. So the scope of study explains the extent to which your research area will be explored during the study. So the scope means the broader objective of your research. Here I have given one example. So here the scope will include the opinions of parents towards vocational education at the elementary level in some particular district in a particular state. After that, next is the delimitation of the study. So after writing down the scope of the study, you will also have to write down the delimitation of the study. So in some research, you might see that they have framed the delimitation before the scope. So it might vary. There is no particular hard and fast rule that it has to go like that. But remember that you will have to include all these. But it will be more better if you write down them in a logical and conceptual manner. So the delimitation of the study is delimitations are the threads that limit the scope and describe the boundaries of the study. So here you can see the scope is the opinions of the parents towards vocational education at the elementary level. So here you can see within the opinions of the parents, there might be various opinions about the parents about the various aspects of a vocational education, but it is impossible for a researcher to explore all the various domains within this particular opinions and vocational education. Therefore, there is a need to delimit that research. So the delimitation can be done with respect to the sample size or with respect to the geographical location or setting, and also with respect to the population and the threats that you are going to study or the phenomenon that you are going to study, and also the variables and methods or tools that you are going to use. So these are some of the areas where you can delimit your research. So I will show you one example. Say for example, if this is the scope of the study, so here the researcher can delimit his or her study by citing that opinions of the parents that will be included in the research will be with respect to the usability, skill development and occupational aspect of the vocational education. So within the various domains and aspects of vocational education, the study will only explore these three domains, that is the usability, the skill development and the occupational aspect of the vocational education. And next is the research is also delimited to only both the male and female parents who are not separated. That means the divorced parents are not included here, and whose children are studying in upper primary level in XYZ district of a particular state. So here you have seen that the scope is to study opinions of parents in the elementary level, but within the elementary level also we have upper primary level and lower primary level. So here the researcher has delimited his or her study within the upper primary level of elementary stage. So these are some of the ways of how you can delimit your research. Next is the research questions. So you will find out that in many research, they don't include the research questions. They directly include the research objectives and research hypothesis. But there is no hard and fast rule. You can obviously include your research question as well. So research questions can be framed in both quantitative as well as qualitative research, and also in mixed method research. As at the beginning of the research, every researcher has some questions in their minds. So these are the research questions. So let us know what is the research questions. So all type of questions or a problem is not considered as a research problem. If this is so, then how you are going to identify what is the research questions? So you can do that by following certain strategies. That is from known to unknown. It is not possible for the researcher to know what is unknown until he or she knows what is known. That is, you will have to do intensive literature search before starting your research. So after doing intensive literature review, you will come to know that what are the areas that has already been explored and already been researched. Only then you will know that what are the things that is still unknown. This is a logical approach of how you can identify the research problem. And next is you can also move from general to specific. That is, the researcher has to narrow down the focus from a topic to a specific problem. Next is you can also move from simple to complex. That is, the research problem starts with simple statements to complex relationships among the variables. That is, from simple to complex. So these are some of the strategies of how you can identify the research problems. So in continuation to the research questions, what are the criteria of a good research statement? So it must be simple, precise, and well framed. Next is it must be feasible and solvable within the allotted time period of your research. Therefore, there is a need to delimit your research. Next is it must specify the relationship among or between the variables that you are going to study. Next is it must not be repetition of the previous researchers. If the previous research has already answered some questions, then you need not have to repeat that again. After that, your research questions should not involve any ethical or methodological constraint. So this may include some sensitive questions which the research respondent may not be willing to give. So you should also develop some empathy towards the respondent. So this is very common in humanities and social sciences and also in psychological and behavioral sciences. Next is it must be relevant to the field study area. Next is it must be free from jargons and ambiguity. So your question should address only one type of aspect at a time. There should not be any ambiguity in that. So coming to the next, which is the research objectives. So research objectives is a clear, concise, declarative statement that provides direction to investigate the variables under the study. So without research objectives, the research is meaningless and directionless. So you have to frame the research objectives in all types of research. So now let us find out what are the characteristics of a good research objectives. So a good research objective should consist of all these traits. That is, it should be specific and it should be framed in a logical order. And next, it should be relevant to the topic under the study. And next, it should be feasible. That means the researcher should be able to obtain the result within the stipulated time. And next, it should be measurable. So your research should be framed in such a manner that it is measurable. Next is it should be written in a simple language. Next is it should be very concise and also realistic in nature. So next is it should be written in a brief manner. And next is it should give some direction to the research. So these are the important traits of a good research objectives. So now let us know what are the example of objectives. So it is generally divided into general objectives and specific objectives. So in most of the cases, the general objectives is broad research title itself. So in this case, it will be to study the opinions of parents towards vocational education at the elementary level in some particular district in a particular state. And within this general or broad objective, you will have to frame some specific objectives. So I will give some example of specific objectives. So these are to develop and standardize a research tool to measure the opinions of parents towards vocational education with respect to its usability, skill development, and occupational aspect. And next is to study the opinions of parents towards vocational education of their children studying in upper primary level in some particular district in a particular state. Next is to study the relationship between the economic status of the parents and their opinions towards vocational education of their children. Next is to identify the correlation between the educational qualification of the parents and their opinions towards vocational education of their children. So these are some of the specific objectives that you can frame out of the general objective. Moving on to the next, which is the hypothesis. So hypothesis is a tentative statement about the possible outcome that are subjected for testing in order to be accepted or rejected. So according to Kerlinger and Lee 2000, hypotheses can be categorized under two broad types, that is, the research hypothesis and the null hypothesis. So the research hypothesis is also known as directional hypothesis. So I will give the examples related to education field itself. So the example of research hypothesis is the group receiving the blended learning method. So this is also called as the treatment group have higher learning outcome than the one receiving the traditional method. So this group that is receiving the traditional method is also called as the control group. So this is one type of research hypothesis that is showing a direction. So here you can see it is directly stating that the group that is receiving the treatment have higher learning outcome as compared to the one which is not receiving any treatment. So the next is the null hypothesis. So null hypothesis is a non-directional hypothesis. It does not provide any direction. So you can also say that it is a bidirectional. So one example is there is no significant difference in the learning outcome of the treatment and the control group. So this is one example of a non-directional hypothesis, or you can say a bidirectional hypothesis. So you have to remember one thing regarding the hypothesis, that is, hypothesis is not mandatory for exploratory type of research or qualitative research, as the researcher may not have any pre-assumptions about the possible outcomes. So Creswell in 2003 also stated that the formulation of one or more hypotheses is a practice that is inherent to the quantitative tradition in research. So I will give some examples. Researchers such as phenomenological research and focus group research discussions. In such kind of research, the hypothesis is not mandatory, but you can always frame your hypothesis if you wish to, but it is not a mandatory aspect in such kind of research. So I will give one example of some exploratory kind of research where hypothesis is not mandatory. So in this case, here you can see the example. Here, the main objective of the researcher is to explore the various living conditions of the child migrants under the age group 4 to 14 years in the refugee camps in certain state. So in this case, the main objective is just to explore the living conditions, and there is no pre-assumptions about the living conditions and the outcome. So in this case, hypothesis is not mandatory. So guys, this is the end of the part 2, and the remaining section of the research proposal will be all discussed in the final part, that is the third part of this video of research proposal. So you can check out the third part.